What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Sunday watch list. This week, I do like the setups that are forming. I like semiconductors a little bit more than anything right now. Before we get started, let's cover some of the economic events that are happening for this week. As you guys can see, on Monday, we just have some Fed speakers before market opens. Tuesday, some more Fed speakers. And Wednesday is going to be the day we really want to pay attention to. We have FOMC minutes. It's not the actual FOMC meeting. The difference is that FOMC minutes happens after 3 weeks of the FOMC meeting. So it's been 3 weeks since our last FOMC meeting, and they just got together collecting data based off of what happened in that meeting. And there is typically a reaction off of this day, right? So it'll be 2 p.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Initial jobless claims is an important one as well. And then on Friday, we have consumer sentiment. So nothing too crazy in terms of economic data this week besides the FOMC minutes, but that should be a good thing for us. Starting with SPY, guys, we did push towards new all-time highs. Previous all-time high was here at 526 area. And as you guys can see, we broke above it. What I want to see is a potential retest of that 526. We have this trend line that connects from a low to a higher low. And I want to see if that connects for another higher low, if that area holds. Anything back below 524 is where I will flip bearish. As you can see, it's kind of like we have resistance here and here as well. We completely broke above that. So if we can hold that zone, I will be interested in going back long into the new all-time highs. Anything above new all-time highs, right? We have room to the next. Like we don't have any levels to go based off of, but I will be using psychological levels, which would be like 535. I feel like that could be another target if we do start breaking above 531, the new all-time high. So that's what I'm watching. Pretty simple. I can clearly see that we're on an uptrend. And I'm just looking for that new higher low to buy the dip off of, which can potentially be around this area. Anything below that, we start having room down to 520 and 518. 520 to 518 is my next levels to the downside if we break below 526. For QQ, very, very similar chart. I think this one's a little bit cleaner in terms of the retest of the all-time high, which was here at 449, let's say. Yeah, this 449 area. We also have the trend line with the low, higher low, and it correlates with that area as well. We have the 4-hour 21 EMA and the daily 9 EMA. We have a daily bullish hammer in that area. So I'd really like to see us hold that area, get back above these zones. You see, we can even draw like some type of flag here, just flagging around this area, right? And what I want to see is us push back, well, preferably a balance in that area to give us a better risk reward ratio from 450 to 449 to catch a bounce to 454, 455 area. Anything above that, we have nothing. Well, we have no levels to go based off of, but I'll be using the psychological levels, potentially like 460, 455. We'll see what happens with Qs with that. But I do really like semiconductors, starting off with NVIDIA being my favorite one. And I'm gonna keep this one short and simple with setups that I really feel like I would potentially trade, right? Just setups that I think have potential. NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA has been forming low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher highs, and then we are currently retesting the previous higher high here at 920. We have a trend line in the same area, and notice how this is a big resistance from back here, here, here. So this is a break retest. I want to see if this area holds. This is going to be our higher low to potentially get us back into 960, which could look something like this from a risk reward standpoint, which is really good, right? It'll look something like this from a risk reward standpoint. If we can get an entry and catch the bounce from that area, anything below this area, it'll use it as a rejection point, which will also give us a great risk reward for a break and retest back down to 900 and then 880. So either way, we have a setup off of that level, which is something that I really like. An area that gives us a setup, right? So that 920, 921 area, I'm keeping on high watch for NVIDIA. AMD. we have this inverse head and shoulders on a 4 hour time frame. So the higher the time frame, the longer it'll take to play out. But you can see we have a left shoulder, a head, right shoulder. We broke the neckline around 160, which you can see was also a big demand zone. Every time we come into this 160, we catch a bounce, and we catch a bounce here, and notice how we have broken above it and we're currently retesting that 160 area. So I want to see that level continue to hold 160 for me to go long on AMD. Right, this could be a setup that, could take a little bit of time, probably a swing. As long as it stays above 160, I will continue to have interest in the setup back into 170s, 175s, and then 180s. And then the next semi will be SMCI. SMCI just broke out of a big downtrend, which had a high, a lower high, lower highs, lower highs. And we finally broke out of that trend. We're coming back for a retest of this 850 area, which you can see every time we did come back to this area, we caught a bounce here, 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 and here we are potentially looking to come for another bounce in this area. And that's what I'll be looking for. As long as that area holds, we can look for a bounce in this area to catch it back into these previous highs. So, or these most recent highs. So that's what I'll be looking for on SMCI. I really, really like the setup along with NVIDIA and AMD. Into some other tickers, I like Microsoft as well. Kind of in this zone right here. You see it's a big resistance back here at 421, support at 418. So it's kind of like a zone. If we hold above this area and get back above 421, I think this can push towards all-time highs. I think this is a setup that could definitely push towards all-time highs as long as we stay and hold above that 421 area. That is a name that I'll be paying attention to as it's also on an uptrend, forming higher highs and higher lows here. Just want to see this area hold. Google's already pushing towards highs. Oh, another name that I really, really like is Starbucks. This is a name that reported bad earnings and it formed a big gap fill. And here we are coming to break above this previous resistance here at 76.94. Let's just say 77. We're breaking above it and approaching the gap fill. Starbucks only has an ATR of $2, which means it only moves $2. It can go up or down $2 on a day. So this is a name that will also take time, but a retest of that 77 is something I'll definitely be paying attention to. Become retest 77, this will look good for a swing trade. Back up to fill the rest of this gap, or even at least to this 83 area. This is a name I would definitely be keeping on watch as for a potential swing. Definitely something that I'll be keeping an eye on. Other than that, just keeping it short and simple, right? Spine cues are always the setups that I always want to keep main watch on, and then those side names, which would be like NVIDIA, AMD, and those other names. So SMCI, Starbucks. If you guys have any questions or anything, make sure to like the video, leave a comment, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great trading week.